you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First off, it's free. There are certain tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can put it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more platforms. You can make money from your podcast also with no minimum listenership. Lastly, it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Everyday topics and everything in between. This is Real Free Flowing Words Podcast with the Rhyme Ruler.
Welcome to Real Free Flowing Words, a podcast about everyday topics and everything in between. I'm the Rhyme Ruler, and in this episode, I'll be analyzing an article by American philosopher Robert Nozick titled The Experience Machine. I wrote a paper on this article years ago in college, and even after all those years, my perspective on the article has not really changed. It has, however, caused me to delve deeper into finding new correlations that can align with Mr. Nozick's argument. With that said, before I begin with this episode's topic, the poem for today's episode is titled The Universe's Dashboard. Past the stars, I see warning signals flaring in the universe's dashboard. In 3, 2, 1. Nukes drop on impoverished streets, and as far as my eyes can see, all is empty. No sign of anything resembling life. Boutique of daisies stuffed in rifles. Bullseye on every target giving away sweet goodbyes. Words of cosmic nonsense numb the ears of serenity. I wander into the land of the unknown, and it shall seem that things will continue to get worse on this imperfect universe. Under the cover of surrender, our memories fade, pitch darkness, rebooting the universe's dashboard for a better tomorrow. Robert Nozick's The Experience Machine explains the importance of making decisions by using a machine that can help one create experiences. Sounds kind of absurd, right? Well, allow me to delve deep into explaining it to you. In the beginning, he makes a profound statement that would warn a person who would ever think of using the machine. He said, quote, "All the time you would be floating in a tank with electrodes attached to your brain. Should you plug into the machine for life, pre-programming your life experiences?" In regards to that, this is a recurring theme in the 1999 science fiction film The Matrix. The early history of The Matrix included the idea that humans reject a virtual reality that offers them paradise. One of the characters in the film, Cypher, a red pill member of the Nebuchadnezzar, had enough of being jaded and would make a deal and betray his colleagues and be reinserted in a less than perfect matrix as a successful man, then live in a harsh reality outside of the simulation. In hindsight, watching the film, viewers would be irate that he would betray his team, but the way I perceive it is, depending on the individual and how dire they think their circumstances are for them to find an escape, being connected to a machine to experience happiness whenever they want doesn't sound that bad of an idea, right? Well, even though one would think he or she is seeing a certain thing, in reality, they're not physically doing anything while in the machine because they're just, as Robert Nozick says, he says they would be floating in a tank and making experiences. So therefore, it's indistinguishable for one to realize if what they're in is a reality or some kind of dream world. After analyzing Nozick's statement on how the machine can create these simulated experiences that feel real, it seems that it all follows a relativism view. The reason being is there isn't any certainty or validity to the machine. For all we know, it could do the opposite of creating experiences. It could ruin them or create undesirable ones that borderline on nightmarish. In addition, there is no objective truth to the machine, and outcomes will differ from person to person. Since this machine is programmed to create or even relive experiences, it would be incomplete without knowing about oneself. In other words, one should understand that knowing oneself is more important than searching for experiences that merely show how one's time was spent. What's more important is what they gained from those experiences and found from that pleasure and enjoyment. In conclusion, I believe you should find yourself first, and then you'll be able to live out your experiences without assistance from a machine. To recap this episode, Robert Nozick presents a solid argument about the experience machine, but after analysis, I'll go as far as to say with consistent use, it can become formidable, but at first it does sound appealing. An experience machine for some might sound intriguing because the machine has the ability for experiences to be enhanced, relived, and created if that person doesn't have the means to experience it. With the help of the machine, they'll be glad to be in a time and place that will imprint a lasting memory. Users will also have expectations that the machine can improve the life they're living. In regards to that, the experience machine at the end of the day is still a machine that will inevitably have its mishaps. It can, as I mentioned before, simulate undesired images and experiences that can cause people to dismiss its use and will continue to do so if they can't fix it or find an alternative. With that said, if an experience machine was an item for sale today in our society, I believe at first people would be captivated for what it can accomplish for them. But I believe it will become a nuisance with much use, and they'll desire tangible experiences that they don't have to be hooked up to. So what's your opinion on the experience machine? Would you ever try it if it were available to you? Also, do you think the machine has staying power if it were to ever hit a market? For more information on this podcast, you can go on realfreeflowingwords.blog. And if you enjoyed listening to this episode's topic and would like to listen to more, subscribe on Spotify or whichever platforms you get your podcasts on. After subscribing, give the podcast a rating and review. The show has been made possible by Anchor, which is providing a great and easy-to-use service for new and seasoned podcasters. Lastly, thank you for listening to Real Free Flowing Words with the Rhyme Ruler. And it's been real.
That was legitness.